Hi everyone, how are you? Selamat datang ke another session of Doctors Go Live. We're on Columbia Asia Facebook page right now, and today we have with us the ophthalmologist of Columbia Asia Hospital Klang, Dr. Siva Kumar Sundralingam. He will be talking to us about digital glare. Kan, doctor?
Yes, hi, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay here. I hope everything's okay there.
Okay, not too bad. We're at the office right now. We're taking turns to work. So anyway, doctor, we would like to discuss the topic for today, which is about how people tend to get stuck to their phones. I mean, because it's MCO, nothing much to do. Actually, we look at our phones all the time. Anyway, it's just that there's a lot more of this going on. Perhaps they're watching Netflix, or perhaps they're just on social media, surfing and work, of course. But too much of this can cause harm, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so this habit of looking at digital screens all the time, whether it's handphones or TV, tablets, and laptops, can you explain a little bit about the effects on our eyes in the long run?
Okay, all right. So usually, the rise of digital eye strain is quite exponential in these current times. Even before the MCO started, there were a lot of people coming into the clinic because of this digital eye strain. Basically, most of them present with symptoms like pain, discomfort, eye redness, blurring of vision, and especially headache. They feel it's already disturbing their daily routine because of prolonged use of these digital eye strains. So these are the most common presentations of the patients when they come, and they can't cope with it daily now.
Yeah. Before we carry on, I would just like to mention to the viewers that if they have any questions, if you have any questions, you can always just leave your questions in the comment section below, and we will read out the question, and Dr. Siva will address those questions on the spot. So don't be shy, just ask anything that you want regarding digital glare. Okay, doctor, is it just the glare that damages the eyes? I mean, when you're looking at your handphone, is the light that is doing the most damage?
Actually, it's not just the light. Actually, there are a few other things involved. The most important thing is, when they use those devices, they don't actually blink enough. Their blinking reflex is actually reduced because they stare a lot. So that causes dry eye. Okay, that's one of the causes of dry eye. And then this will result in reduced tears, and the tears is actually, it's like our natural glasses. So you don't have tears, your vision is going to get interrupted, and then and this is going to be very discomforting for them, and they will start to have eye redness and inflame, and it's going to be, they feel the heat in their eye. Okay, so basically, actually, it leads to an inflammation of the eye. All right, it's a vicious cycle where it keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. All right, and especially these people will have migraine. They'll have a lot of headache. For staring screen too long, and the prolonged screen time and glare also causes this headache to form. It's a common cause of migraine, right? And then they also start to have this reflex blinking of the eye, like spasm of the eye, because it gets so dry and irritated that they just need to blink, extra to try to compensate for that discomfort. And then the worst is they will have neck and shoulder pain because they are looking at the device in abnormal posture. Yeah. Okay. So those are most common thing.
Okay. Can you share with us some tips on how to face digital screens for an extended amount of time, whether you're watching a movie or whether you're in the classroom? Because obviously when there's a class going on, the students and the teachers have to look at the screen. So what are the things that they can do in order to safeguard their eyes from damage?
Okay, so what happens is Okay, now there are a few tips we can do, right, to reduce, help with the digital eye strain. We can't get computer and TVs and out of our lives. It's going to be even more in our daily routine, right? Because everything is computer. In Japan, everybody takes a notebook to school. Nobody carries textbook anymore. So there are the ways we can do to actually try to improve so that these symptoms doesn't irritate us, right? So one is like we need to move a computer away from a bright area. Okay, like don't want too much glare from the outside coming. Okay, and then you also need to get the monitor, the screen exactly to your height. Do not keep it in abnormal position screen because you're going to hurt your shoulder and you're going to strain your eye and all this. Number three is maybe those who wear contacts. Some who wear contact lenses, right? They don't realize that they actually need to hydrate their lenses. Naturally, they need to put eye drops to keep their lenses hydrated. So now, when they get dry eye, it's going to be even worse. Their symptoms are going to be very bad, and they think that a contact lens is just going to make it even worse with their vision, right? So in fact, the contact lens is actually going to cause a lot more problem like ulcers and all that to the eye. Okay. Next, also you can also the display brightness of the computer. We need to adjust it according to the environment. And the most important thing to do is there is a 20-20-20 rule. Okay, this is a very important rule for this digital eye strain. You take every 20 minutes, take a break for every 20 minutes for 20 seconds and look 20 feet away. That's the 20-20-20 rule. Okay, or if another way is those who are working in the office and all that, or you just every half an hour get away from the computer, go to the pantry or something, have a drink, and come back and then continue. Only in that way you realize that you need to start to blink, actually, instead of just staring at the computer all the time, right? And then also make sure your computer, the distance is actually 1 arm length away, okay? So don't keep it too close, okay? And if you're really feeling discomfort and it's irritating, you really got to see an eye care specialist already, right?
But again?
You got to see an eye care specialist if it's getting getting worse. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's about the tips, the basic tips we need to try to avoid it.
So those are very helpful actually, and they're very practical. In terms of the brightness that you were talking about just now, sometimes the phone has a feature that is it's auto adjust. So is that something that we can just leave it? I mean, does the phone know better than us if you're talking about the brightness of the environment that matches our eyes?
Yeah, okay. Actually, it depends on the type of program you use, what are the apps you use. Certain apps where you need contrast, so I guess the brightness will be actually adjusted to according to the app or to what you do. You cannot just follow the auto brightness. Auto brightness does try to help us, but we still need to adapt and change according to what we have, what we are doing, what work we are doing. Yeah.
Okay. There's also another bad habit, doctor. I'm talking through experience. Sometimes, when you are using your phone and you don't want to kacau the other people because it's too bright. So the lights are off, but you're either using your phone, so it's very bright. But then, of course, your eyes feel tired when you do that because the surrounding is dark, but you're just staring at one particular light source. Does that make the damage worse?
Actually, it's not about the brightness, but actually how prolonged you are looking at that brightness is the one which is causing the damage. So because okay, they used to say all this blue light and all that, which was actually released from these devices and all that, but now the blue rays which is emitted from the devices are much reduced. But it used to be very high, so that's why we used to have this blue coated glasses and all that to try to help us. Yeah, but now it's much more reduced, but majority of the blue rays actually is emitted from the sun. So that's why actually wearing a good pair of sunglasses is important.
I see.
Right?
Another thing, doctor, we've got Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok also, and these things come with special effects. So I'm not sure what kind of effects you've seen, but I have seen some that they've got like blinking lights, and then sometimes the picture breaks a bit. It's just sophisticated in nature. So have you seen any, excuse me, any sort of effects that are not good to be looked at?
Not really in particular, but because a certain kind of pattern actually can increase your symptoms of migraine and all that. Actually, glare itself causes any of this bright light actually can precipitate headache and migraine. So that's one of the things. Depends on the type of pattern which is emitted, right? Certain pattern actually can stimulate this nervous system to cause this headache and all that which we have. So it all depends on the type of app you use, but yes, it does have effect. Actually, looking at it, some kind of effect where you have suddenly bright and dark and bright and dark. Yeah, this all can cause some effect to the brain.
Yeah, I especially find the one that's a little annoying is the one that looks like old television screen, and then when the screen it just goes back and forth, and then there's a lot of lines going on, so optical illusion or whatever you call it, but it's
Yes.
Okay, doctor. Because this is such a hard habit to break with some people, can you describe a worst case scenario? What's the worst that can happen? Is blindness an effect?
Okay, it's actually not blindness per se, but it's going to be a very disturbing thing for your daily routine, and that's worse because driving, watching television, doing your daily routine, even your normal housework, it's just going to be troublesome. It's going, they'll have that vision. They don't know why they have to keep on putting artificial tears a lot, and then they still don't know what's happening. But actually, you can do whatever medication you want to give, you can give. But then the underlying cause where you don't want to let your eyes take a break and recover problem. You see, what happens is when your eye becomes dry, your cornea, which the front part of the eye, that layer actually becomes shriveled. The cells becomes like a prune, so it's not fresh anymore. Okay, so the tears which we have is actually maintains the equilibrium of the tear of the ecosystem of the eye, So, but when you affected that part, then things are going to get worse. The body is just trying to heal itself. It doesn't bother about whether you can see or not. It's just going to try to prevent infection from coming. It's going to try to prevent your eye getting more damage. But it's not there to try to help you with your vision. So it's going to release all the chemical mediators and all that stuff, and these kind of things, which is going to cause very disturbing to your daily lifestyle. And that's why they've come, and then we need to use certain procedures to try to stimulate the tears. Like the one which I have at the back there is for IPL, where we use some kind of light therapy to stimulate the nerves to release more tears. That's one of it. Or even we have to use certain punctum plugs where we block the passage of the tears so that more tears are retained in your eye. So all these things are going to, we are going to more advanced treatment because they have no choice, because the tears are just not coming and they are feeling the difficulty already, and it's just going to disturb them for very long times. So we need to actually treat all these underlying causes and make sure that they heal faster.
Yes, of course. All these harms that you've just described, would they be worse in different, according to different age groups? Like for the elderly, maybe a bit more than the young ones, or vice versa? What do you think of that?
Yeah, all right. It's based most okay. Elderly, right? Now I see that actually most elderly, they are very hooked into their digital devices. They didn't really get their iPads now, but now their children is telling that they don't want to leave their iPads alone. Okay, and okay, usually the elderlies, they have medical conditions like diabetes and all that, and there's some autoimmune problems, even those with thyroid. All those things can cause dry eye. Okay, and you doing this plus having your medical problem is just going to get worse. So elderly suffers a lot. Those the working age group, they suffer a lot. Actually, we have a lot of them coming in because of that. For younger children, believe it or not, the teenagers, can you believe the one study has taken, teenagers actually use 9 hours of digital devices a day. You're not just talking about one, just you're talking about a few. So there's one landmark study that said 9 hours they use a day. So you imagine what things they're going to develop in a few years' time, how much problem they're going to have. And then they always think that there's something wrong with their body, but actually it isn't actually. It's just you're just taxing your eyes from all these things.
Yeah. So we're not just talking about the effects on the eyes, because what the eye sees could also affect your whole body, lah.
Right.
I think a lot of people are not aware of that.
But
and you
also there's a lot of things, a lot of conditions actually was diagnosed as an eye before. Example, coronavirus was actually was actually presented with red eyes.
Oh, I see.
The doctor who died is actually an ophthalmologist, the Chinese doctor from China. He thought that something was why his patients was having red eyes, and then he put it together actually. Yeah.
I see. That's how important our eyes, eye health. Yeah. Doctor, you were mentioning just now for the teenagers who spends 9 hours at least on their phones, what is the maximum that you would recommend?
Okay, actually, teenagers, I don't actually for children, right? When the parents, sometimes they bring the children and all that, right? And they tell you that the children don't want to leave their handphone and all that. So I keep asking the children, why do you need the handphone? Do you have some business or something going on? Do you have clients you need to take care? Then they say no. I say why? I said because I need to message my mom. I said, really? Why you don't want to spend time with your mom? It's like that. It's just they just use their digital device to communicate now to everyone. And believe it or not, that our pediatricians also have told that children become very not socializing enough when they become too close with their digital device. They just don't know how to talk with others anymore. They become very reserved. And you've seen it, I think, when you go to restaurants and all that, how the teenagers, they are all just stuck together and they're just looking at their phone. None of them are talking to each other because this is the age is happening. So we have, there is no time limit, but they should be aware. I mean, we cannot stop them because this era of time, everybody is used to digital devices, but they need to be aware how it's going to affect their eyes. That we can't, some of them really need their device because a lot of bloggers and a lot of those who do online businesses, they really need their devices a lot. So we cannot tell them don't stare. And a lot of young teenagers also are doing businesses like that. So we just have to tell them to take precautions and give the eye the break, put lubricants, like that. Certain things like that.
Yeah, those are work hazards, I suppose, because it's something that they have to do to earn a living. Also, sometimes you were mentioning just now at restaurants and you see teenagers who are stuck on their phones. There are also parents who, unfortunately, maybe because they would like something to distract their young children, maybe as young as 2 or 3 years old, and they give the phone so the child can watch some nursery rhyme video or cartoons. What advice can you give to parents to do that a lot?
Okay, I tell you this, right? If you go up in the internet and look at Bill Gates, Microsoft, Steve Jobs, who developed iPhone, has never given their children iPad and all that to see. They have plenty of books in their house, they told. But none of their children have any digital devices. That's the amazing thing. But they are the CEOs of their respective field, right? Yeah. So that's how they know. Because when you're stuck when you're stuck with your devices, your brain doesn't think. It's just going to follow what the device wants you to do. That's it. But it doesn't have the capacity to expand. So that's why these entrepreneurs, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they knew that we didn't grow up with digital devices, but because they read and they experimented, and that's how they actually developed. So parents actually should tell children, you don't have to look at all these programs and all that on the phone, because it's just going to keep them quiet for some time. But that's all. It's just not going to expand their capability. So when you go out, take them a coloring book, give them a puzzle. I'm sure their brain is capable of handling it, because the young minds are, it's full of energy. They can do anything. But once you limit their brain is just to play games and just look at nursery rhymes only, and that's it. They're not going to expand. They need to explore. Their brain can do that. So give them all kind of books, puzzles, Lego sets, and all that. Where they can start to expand.
Yeah. Well, that's the new age that we're living in. Like, everything is just digital. Sadly, I mean, from birth, what do you call it? From womb to tomb. I don't think it's something that we can push off anymore. That's just the way things are right now. Anyway, that's becoming a bit sentimental on that. How many hours is considerable? Okay, we've already asked that question. I'm looking at the list of questions. How to alleviate digital eye strain, which we have already addressed, and then sitting too close to the TV can damage children's eyes. This one, ever since forever, this is something that parents would tell their children. Okay, and then tips for eye strain relief, which you mentioned just now, was what do you call it? To just relax your eyes and go for a walk and natural tears and all that, right? Okay, so we've covered that. Contact lenses, we've covered that as well. And okay, doctor, should we do regular eye checkups for our children to ensure that they have a healthy vision? Just the way that people do health screenings to find out if there's anything wrong with the body, should we do? How often should we do, and how often should we do?
Okay, so for children, right? Okay, somehow we don't have guidelines for in our health ministry for eye checkup, but in Western countries they do. Most important time is we want to prevent lazy eyes, amblyopia. So the lazy eyes, that's very important. So many of times children don't inform their parents they cannot see and all that, until it's too late. You find when the teacher say they can't see the blackboard and all that, and when they come, there's not enough time to treat whatever cause that they have. All right. So whatever it is, before 9 years old, we have to treat. If not, after 9, it's going to be a very difficult thing to correct back their vision. So most important time is usually it's when they're still before they enter kindergarten, okay, and then before they enter primary school. So those are the important times you have to do your eye checkup, because you want them not to have any problem in school and in their education. So if you can know everything is perfect, then you don't need to worry.
I see. Okay, doctor, a question about COVID-19, this pandemic that's going on right now. One of the advice that's strongly given to everybody is not to touch their eyes. And then we all know that sometimes eyes do age. So what tip can you give so that people, they don't scratch their eyes because they're itchy, but what else can they do? Because they can't possibly let the itch just go away on its own, especially children. They do this a lot.
Do you know actually why they said don't scratch eye in COVID cases?
Yeah, because the virus
replicates in conjunctiva there actually, yeah. That's why bird flu, SARS and all that, you didn't have this problem, because they didn't have these conjunctivitis, all right? So, so for people like them, right, if you feel itchy, make sure you always clean your hand, because actually washing up, if you really feel like you want to touch your eye, if you're going to touch your eye, you, make sure you wash your hands with soap at least, because soap actually destroys the cell lining of the cells of especially coronavirus and all that. So it disintegrates the virus. The virus actually dies off just by washing your hands. Okay, so wash your hands, clean your hands, And then if something is bothering you, then you can check your eye yourself first, all right? But always make sure the hygiene, your hands are important. That's all, most important,
Okay.
right? And then if it's really disturbing, come immediately to have a check. Then you can know what's wrong. So
Okay.
most important is actually hand wash the hygiene.
Yes, of course. Okay, Dr. Siva, that was a very good discussion. We had a lot of contents and a lot of advice and tips from you. So thank you very much for your time. That was Dr. Siva Kumar Sundralingam, ophthalmologist, consultant ophthalmologist with Columbia Asia Hospital Klang, on Doctors Go Live, organized by Columbia Asia Facebook Live. So if you have any questions, you can still type even after the program, because we can always get back to you with answers soon enough. Thank you so much. Thank you, doctor. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Right.